Two new things, as you can see right now. One, new studio space. Trying to play around with the studio space. I was originally filming my intros in my office where I do my editing, my videos. Cramps up my style and it just feels too cluttered. So I scrapped that location. My other previous video was obviously doing the kitchen, a lot of space, long counter, which is perfect. However, it really didn't make sense because this is not a cooking channel. This is kind of like an overland tutorial video, and I feel like doing it in the kitchen was just, it really didn't make sense. So I scrapped that location as well, since I've been doing most of my projects and my build is in my garage, and so this is where we're at. Right now, looking at the playback video on my phone, foreground, which is me, looks good, and I have that nice kind of depth of field with the Frontrunner Telluride in the back, and the lighting's good, and so far, I like it. There's going to probably be some changes along the way as I make more and more videos, so this is just kind of like a test, and so far I'm pretty happy with it, and I can't wait to see how I can improve my intros and my videos as I keep making more and more. Now we're getting right into it. Number two, obviously you saw in the title, this is the assembly and install video of Frontrunner Outfitters Slimline II rack. When I set out to build Telluride, I thought of three most important things that I must have when starting off my very expensive and ongoing money pit of a vehicle. The OEM roof rack was just not cutting it for me, and I just feel like, that's just kind of, meh. But what I was looking for is I wanted a roof rack to be kind of tailored to me, and if I ever want to change it up to the type of adventure I'm looking for, which is skiing, kayaking, so forth, I wanted options, And with that being said, with my Forerunner, I have a moonroof, and I want to utilize that moonroof so I could space out the bars, the crossbars of the roof rack, and open that up so I could still have my moonroof and be able to pop my head out, open that, whatever it be, without sacrificing the integrity and the sturdiness of the roof rack. And if you want, you could totally make that into a complete flatbed. They sent you enough crossbars to make it a complete flatbed, which I really do like. But I think what really sold me on the Slimline II is the modular system and the unlimited amount of accessories that they have for your roof rack, which is awesome. One example is for my CVT tent, it was a pain in the ass to screw the latches onto the crossbars. I probably shouldn't do this, especially if I was making eye contact with a woman. With the CVT tent, I was trying to figure out I definitely need a lot of clearance if I'm going to reach in there and unthread the bolts so I can take off my rooftop tent. However, Frontrunner Outfitters just created an awesome product that I was just absolutely sold on, and I knew this is the roof rack I need. And it's basically quick release mount plates that attaches to the bottom of your rooftop tent and on top of your your roof rack as well. And all it takes is just pull the latches off and the tent comes off within 30 seconds, done. Easy as that. Sold, buy it now, take my money, that's it. Now, without further ado, guys, this is the assembly version of the video. This could be a two-part video because it's very long, but I like the details because I don't want you guys missing out on anything and making sure you have everything you need when it comes to building the roof rack and obviously your ideal overland vehicle. So right now this is assembly video and we're going to get right into it, and then part two is going to be the installation video where we'll prep the Forerunner and we'll mount it. I do recommend friend, never do this alone because friends are everything, right? Gotta have a best friend. Okay, I don't know how to close, so we're gonna get right into it. the box provided by Frontrunner, and as you can see, pretty big box. Upon ordering your Slimline rack number 2, this is the full body one. You will receive 2 boxes, and this is the smallest one. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this one here and get opening it. Open me, and you're one step closer to adventure. Got that right. Alright. This will be the foot rails for the sliders. Excuse me. Or wait foot sliders, pardon me. This is the foot rail for the Slimline rack. And you should get 2 of these. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take these out. And I'm guessing there's a little set of instructions there. A huge pack of these little pieces here, all brand wrapped up. The corner bits here. I guess it's the wind deflector. Yeah, it is actually. I'm guessing this is the pieces. Okay, there we have it, really. We got main rails here, and then we got the front part of the rails there, here, and then our side here as well. Before you begin, unbox all the nuts and bolts provided in the box with the rack. It's always best to have everything laid out at the ready, so make assembly much quicker. As we lay out the pieces before assembly, figure out how you want your rack to be utilized before the build. It's important to keep in mind that we want to build this rack upside down first. To know it's upside down, have the Frontrunner logo on both ends of the header to be upside down, and the side profiles as well by having the joiner holes facing up. Starting with one side, take the long side profile and the short side profile as we will be connecting them. Here we have the T-slot channel and the U channel and the joiner holes running down the side profile. Take the thick joiner provided and insert into the U channel, as well as the thin joiner into the T-slot. Then we're going to thread the M8x45 bun head bolt through the joiner hole, threading it through the thick and the thin joiner hole. Then you're going to grab the nylon nut and place it above the thin joiner down the channel where the bolt can grab on the nut. Use a 5mm Allen key to tighten the bolt. Before connecting either the long side or short side profile, depending on which side you start on, be sure to thread another nylon nut down the channel on the side profile. You attach the thick and thin joiners first before connecting the side profile together. Take that exact same bolt used earlier and thread it through the joiner hole, through the thick and thin joiner, and for the nylon nut to catch the other end of the bolt. Go ahead and repeat these steps on the other side. Starting at the rear end of the roof rack, we'll take the header and attach it to the side profiles. There should be a nylon nut already inserted on the ends of the header. Remember, we want to be working upside down, so have the side with the nylon nut facing down. Take one corner of the header and join it to the end of the side profile, aligning the joiner holes. Then you're going to take an M8x25 bun head bolt and thread it through the joiner and the header until the nylon nut on the header catches the bolt. Then you're going to be using 5mm Allen key to tighten it. Go ahead and repeat these steps on the other side. Each of the slats also have a nylock nut on one side. Same as the header, have the nylock nut facing down, align the slats to the side profile joiner hole, and thread another bolt through the hole to attach the slat. Before you begin this step, make sure you have it all planned out on how you want your slat spaced. For me, I have it spaced for one of every joiner hole in between each slat. Work your way from one end to the other end of the rack and repeat these steps on the other side. Now with all the slats you've added to the side profiles and adding the header to the other end of the rack, you're ready to assemble the foot railings. Here's what you will need. Starting on one side of the foot rail, you'll need the front and rear, or as I call them, the short and long foot rails, and align them to the cutouts made on each end as shown. Take the joiner plate and have it lined up with the joiner holes on the foot rails, and be sure the joiner plate is on the inside of the foot rails. Take a button head M6x16 size bolt and thread it from the outside of the foot rails and through the joiner plate for it to meet to the other side with a flat washer M6x12x1SS nut, a nylock nut M6, and a nut cap M6. You'll be needing at least 4 on one side. Once that's completed, go ahead and repeat the steps on the other side of the foot rail. Working on the front end of your roof rack and the header in place, it's time to add the wind deflector on the roof rack. Start by throwing the M8x12 button head size bolt to the schnorr washer and the M8 half nut. Have 2 of them at the ready. Take 2 of these bolts, insert them at the header slots, and have the bolts meet in the middle of the header. Make sure the washer is above the T-slot channel pocket. Take the bolt and washer to sit on top of the ends of the wind deflector for the washer to catch the bolt. Insert the bolt and washer on the end of the wind deflector to the T-channel pocket on each end of the headers. Move both the wind deflectors towards the center where they will meet with the other bolts you have inserted earlier. Slide the wind deflector in between the bolts and the header and tighten all bolts down with a 5mm Allen key. Last step, take the M8x20 bolt and place them on each end of the slats, where the foot railing will line up with the bolts. My setup is a little bit different since I compensated the moonroof to be used, so I removed 2 of the slats, which one of them should have been used to secure the bolt to the foot railing. To have a better idea where the bolt should be placed for the foot railings, have the foot railing sit on top of the roof rack to get a general idea where the bolts need to be placed. Now this ends part 1 of the video, so be on the lookout for part 2, which is prepping and installing the roof rack on